Welcome back to the Jmull Show on a Monday. Twitch.tv/110sports, 110sportsmedia.com/live. What's up, baby? It is Masters Week. It is November 9th. And it is Masters Week. How awesome is that? And not only is it Masters Week now, in 6 months, we're going to have another one. Instead of having to wait 12. It's awesome. It is a lovely time. And obviously the price that needed to be paid for there to be a November Masters and then an April Masters right after it is, of course, not worth it, of course. But it is a fun byproduct. So we're gonna do picks, my predictions on Wednesday, right before the tournament starts. We'll have another show on Wednesday, of course, Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/110sports, 110sportsmedia.com/live, and we'll do that then. But I wanted to start off Masters Week today. I didn't want to wait until Wednesday to not mention it at all. So I got a couple things I'm looking for, and I'm looking at, and I'm interested in, and I'm keeping tabs on. However you want to describe it. I got a lot of things that I'm just making sure I'm keeping tabs on. The first thing is how is Augusta going to present itself? And when I say that, I mean from a couple different perspectives. First, Augusta is the greenest place on earth. The grass just is a different color of green. There, you just can't find that anywhere else. And in April, you have the flowers. The trees are really green, so on and so forth. But it's November, and from what I've seen on social media from the Masters accounts, it looks like they're going to lean into the fall thing. But how are they going to present the course? How is it going to play? Is it going to play any differently? You know, when they moved the Players' Championship back to March, when they moved the Players' Championship, they talk about how the wind directions change and how it's just a different golf course and it's a little cooler, and how these things impact the course. And maybe the weather won't be all that different because it's Georgia in November, and Georgia in November is pretty similar. At least there's not a major striking blow you away difference between Georgia in November and Georgia in April. But how do the wind patterns change? Is there just something a little different about every hole? Are they really leaning into this fall Masters kind of thing? Because it would be cool to have them do something so that every time you see a clip from this year's Masters, whether it's the greatest shots in Masters history or whether it's, highlights from all of Tiger Woods' Masters victories, for what it's worth, Tiger Woods is not going to win this Masters. I seem very confident in that, considering that he's a guy who's won there a lot of times, and I understand that. But I think it would be cool to know the second that you see it, the highlight, whenever and wherever it might be, that, oh yeah, that's from the 2020 Fall Masters. That was cool. There's some things that will make it obvious, like there will be no fans, and especially for the places where you just see these massive galleries of people. You're talking, right around the tee box on 16, the massive area sort of in between the 12 green, the 11 green, the 12 tee, and everyone sitting off to the right of the 12 tee, sort of in between 11 green and 12 tee, and then you've got all the people that sit to the right of the fairway at 13. Augusta's a weird golf course, just not from a layout in every hole necessarily, but just the way you sort of move around the golf course from hole to hole. I mean, there's not, a path through some trees to get to the next tee box sort of thing. It's just there are these parts of the golf course where it's just a wide open space. Like walking from 11 green to 12 tee, like to the right of the 13 fairway. There are just some interesting parts of this golf course, and they just are going to look completely empty because there are these massive open spots with no fans. And so I'm curious to see what they do with those. How different does it? How do the Masters feel? And unlike most, the Masters have a feeling that just not many sporting events in the world, period, have. We're going to find out how much of that is just the aroma and the aura of Augusta, and how much of that is the aura of Augusta with a lot of fans and the patrons, and you know what I mean? It's going to be awesome either way. I'm just curious how it's going to play out. Beefy Bryson versus Augusta, of course. Can he break it? I saw a tweet the other day talking about how he had 65 yards to the green at one, and if you're familiar with the course at all, I mean, guys are hitting 3-wood a lot off of the first tee at Augusta, and you're hitting 3-wood, and then you have 160 yards in, 65 yards, taking it over the trees. He had a 9-iron or something into 13. What else did they say? He reached the upslope on 9. If you're familiar with 9, it sort of bends around the corner. You go up the hill. Apparently he was on the upslope at 9. Is Bryson going to break Augusta in the way that Tiger did? In the way that what Tiger did in 97, does it completely change the way that Augusta approaches the golf course? That Augusta National and the people in charge there, do they change the golf course based on what Bryson is about to do? I don't think the answer is yes, because I don't see Bryson winning by as many strokes as Tiger did or dominating the way that Tiger did. It's not like Bryson has had a ton of success there. With that being said, he also was a normal-looking human being the last time he was there, almost 2 years ago in the spring of 2019. So I concede that. I promise. I do. But we're still talking about, in the Masters, he's only played in it twice. 3 times. His best finish, he hasn't finished inside the top 20, and his best finish is a T21 when he was the low am in 2016. He was T38 in 2018 and T29 in 2019. Now, at the US Open, he's also gone cut, T15, cut, T25, T35, and then first. And at the PGA, he was T33, cut, T4. The point being is that clearly Beefy Bryson is a little bit more effective at majors than previous Bryson was. But so I'm looking at Beefy Bryson, looking at that really, really hard. And some of these other things, Jordan Spieth is just not in a good place right now, but he's got a 70.14 average at Augusta, and it just feels like one of those places where it doesn't matter how he's playing, that he has a chance to win. And then there are a lot of first-time participants who are big-time players. Colin Morikawa, first Masters. He's a major champion and the 4th-ranked player in the world. Matthew Wolff, we've seen what he can do. He's coming off a runner-up at the U.S. Open. Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Champ. You've got a lot of talent, and will the pressure feel different when you don't have a ton of fans around you and you can't hear the roars from 16 and the roars from 12 and the roars from 13? Because that's one of the cool parts about this golf course, is that you can hear the roars from everywhere. So how does that do we get a champion that maybe we're not expecting because that champion, because the pressure's just a little different. I mean, we talked about this a little bit with the NBA. Is it's a little bit easier to step up when there aren't 20,000 screaming fans in the stadium, in the arena, when it's Game 6 of the finals, when it's Game 5 of the finals, or whatever, or when you have to win Game 7 of a conference finals. It's just different, and Augusta will be different. It'll be awesome, but it will be different. We'll do picks on Wednesday. So we will get to that part of it, but I just wanted to open up Masters Week with some chats about some of the headlines I am looking at. Coming next, we'll do some FYI. Get out of here real quick. Jmull Show. That's what you're watching. 110sportsmedia.com.